Welcome back to Pop Culture Explosion. This is Mike, and I'm here with Paul.
Here at Pop Culture Explosion, we watched this movie 4 years ago, and we're like, meh. And then we see this new version of this movie, and we're like, oh my God, where were these characters? We saw these characters before, but now they're different. Mike, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about, again, Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, but we're in part 2 now, and we're going to discuss the characters.
I mean, come on, guys. This is a 4-hour-long movie. Do you honestly believe we can do justice in a 1 10-minute video? So no, this is part 2. We're going to be talking about the differences with the characters. You know, we all saw the Joss Whedon version of this, and now we get the Zack Snyder version. And we're just excited. Our third video coming out sometime later next week. We'll be talking about the epilogue and how it just blew our minds. So, Mike, I suggest we just jump into it. Probably the most glaring difference well, there's so many. Let's talk about Cyborg real quick. When we first saw Cyborg, he felt kind of like a cartoonish type character. Didn't really relate to the guy at all. Got really not really much information about him. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that Cyborg was one of the more emotional backstories and his motivations and everything. You know, you start bringing family into it, and the father-son relationship, the fact that his mom died in the crash. I mean, all of that stuff it gets you in the feels, right? So it's like, this is what we need in a movie. We need that motivation. We need, this is bringing the character from 2-dimension to 3-dimensional, where you actually care about this guy now and understand what he does and why he does it and everything.
And he's so much more powerful. I mean, the fact that this guy could just pretty much destroy all of mankind by hacking into the nuclear system and just start World War III with nukes.
On a thought.
Just on a thought. You know what? I'm bored. What's it going to look like if we just have a rain of nukes today? Or the fact that he can completely manipulate the financial system. I mean, I view that on a power tier up there with Superman, if not even more because Superman can't destroy the world. I mean, he can really beat it up, but Cyborg can.
No, so Cyborg's definitely more powerful.
Yeah. But,
Superman can punch stuff.
Yeah, well,
thank you, Mother Boxes, for that beautiful gift.
Well, the fact is, he's a nice guy, so if I was in that universe, I wouldn't be too afraid.
Yeah.
The Flash. Wasn't a fan. Again, I thought that character was comic relief in the first version of this movie. He had zero impact. The only thing he did, I thought, in my humble opinion, was help resurrect Superman. That was the only thing that he did of any consequence in the first movie. Second movie, or the Snyder Cut, he had such a bigger role in this movie, and I actually liked this character more.
Yeah, I enjoy Ezra Miller playing Flash quite a bit. And, the movie itself, and I said this in our first episode, was that the tone remained the same. I mean, it was consistent, right? But you still had like these little pockets of humor, So I think maybe in the first run, that kind of manipulated the tone of the movie, I thought. A little bit, where it didn't do that, in this. But, I think that he still was himself. He was still funny and everything else, so.
What I liked about him is I kind of viewed him as kind of like being us, that whole innocent piece where he's not really, he never viewed himself as a superhero. And now he's thrown into this world of being a superhero. And I like that level of innocence that he has through the course of the movie, and it's fairly consistent. Yeah. Now, of course, we're going to talk about Aquaman, which of course I'm sure all the ladies out there just really adore him. Don't know why. Maybe it's his six pack or his pecs or the tattoo. God knows what. But I didn't see much of a difference between the two movies with Aquaman.
Well, not only that, but we have an Aquaman movie. So there's a lot there that fleshes him out. He's got his story already. Unlike Flash and Cyborg, I don't think you needed to do a lot with Aquaman other than have him be cool and everything else. And it gave you a little bit, it gave you a little backstory with him. They spent time with him, but you didn't need a ton because you already have the movie,
Mm-hmm. And in the same, I mean, I thought Wonder Woman seemed more of a badass in the Snyder version, especially when I remember that scene in the original where she's kind of saving all the children from the machine gun. This time, though, it seemed much more intense than the first time I saw it, But again, though, I think they pretty much were very consistent with her. And like you said, she has, what, 2 movies now under her belt?
Yeah. So you got 2 movies with her. Now we're just showcasing her, like the beginning sequence. She gets that whole sequence, which is very cool. I could watch her all day long.
Oh, yes.
Very fun, great character. And, so she didn't get like the Cyborg treatment, with going into a backstory and all that. So you don't need it, so she just gets to be, who she is in the movie. And I thought, I think there was a good balance with her.
Yeah. I thought Batman, I'm a Ben Affleck fan from the beginning. I've enjoyed him in pretty much almost any movie he's done. And I like him as Batman. I thought we had a little bit more. What I liked about this version is, during the Joss's movie, he came back for some retakes, and he gained weight, and you can tell he gained weight. In the Snyder Cut, physically he was consistent during the entire time, and it didn't look like he was bored. The first version, I just thought he looked bored all the time. This one, no, I didn't detect that at all.
Yeah, and I like what they did. I'm a fan as well. I thought he did a good job as Batman. Definitely would want more of that. I think that this movie shows how his character, Bruce Wayne and Batman, has grown from sort of dark, brooding, loner to, hey, I need a team. Realizing you need to rely on others for help and opening up quite a bit and having faith, making them comments to Alfred about having faith and this is going to work and all this stuff. So I think those are important character arcs.
I've never known Batman as being the optimistic kind of guy,
Yeah.
He always struck me as, okay, I'm going to have a contingency plan for anything that could possibly go wrong, and so that was kind of cool. The choice they made with Superman, I really liked. I mean, when you only have a 2-hour movie, he pretty much showed up at the halfway part. But now, in the Snyder Cut, 2/3 of the movie happened without Superman, and we realized quite quickly that without Superman, we can't beat Steppenwolf. And I liked how it took that much time to develop the other characters before they even introduced Superman.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword for me because I really like Superman. I really like Henry Cavill. I like him as Superman. I'm just sad that there wasn't more of him in it, But even though it really makes sense how Snyder did this, there's this sense of loss and the whole Superman's dead, and they really play that one out.
Especially with his mom Martha and Lois Lane.
Then they have that scene.
Yeah, and I love how they had that scene in that dark kitchen versus the bright office area. You actually the tone of the conversation matched the environment. But going back to probably the thing that I really appreciate the most is that one line, "Do you bleed?" is so freaking cringy. And it was so nice that they got rid of that. And I thought it was really cool when he's blasting Batman with his heat vision and Batman's blocking him with his forearms. And you can just tell that just 2 more seconds and his arms would have been just melted. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and so I think that, you have this sort of sub-story plot of them now having to get Superman so that he can help them with the Steppenwolf problem, and then having him come in when he did. I think probably couldn't have done it better, even though I would have liked to have seen him come in when they were infiltrating the base and have him help with that sequence. That would have been, I would have got more. But, I'm not going to disagree with what they actually did, though.
Yeah, now speaking of Steppenwolf, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a great character.
No kidding. I think I made this comment in our last video. Marvel has a track record of really having some really generic, cheap, two-dimensional bad guys, and DC's like, hey, Marvel, hold my beer. We'll show you generic. And how they changed his appearance was scary. His voice was different, which I loved. And they changed his dialogue immensely. And I love the fact that we now know why he was doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they really fleshed him out, and they gave us a lot of screen time with Steppenwolf, So I don't want to say maybe he was a sympathetic villain, you're kind of like, okay, I could get behind this. And the other important thing, I think, is because you fleshed out Steppenwolf so much, and you gave him a lot of screen time, it adds value to, that syndrome where in movies where you have the superheroes are just fighting these, faceless armies of just to fight something, like in Age of Ultron or like in the first Avengers movies, just all these aliens. It gives that sort of thing some credibility, some more value, because you have the main baddie in the fray the whole time. So I don't know. I see it as it's not so generic. It doesn't come off as generic when you have that many, or when you have this villain that's fleshed out as he is.
Right. And again, I don't know if I would consider him a sympathetic villain, because really his long-term goal is just to get on the bright side of Darkseid. God, I can't believe I just said that. Yes, folks, that was a really bad attempt at humor. But his whole motivation was, I screwed up bad, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get on Darkseid's good side, And I was really impressed. And by the way, that's another great segue, Mike. Who are we talking about next?
Darkseid.
Now, I'm not a huge DC fan. I know who Darkseid is. He can, one-on-one, he can beat Superman. He's pretty badass.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's like the DC version of Thanos, pretty much, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I look at those. They're one for one.
It is. Now, in my humble opinion, removing the Infinity Stones, Darkseid would kick the living crap out of Thanos. Hey guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. We didn't see much of him, which I really liked. I liked the fact that we didn't. I think there was 2 scenes with him, maybe.
Yeah, tops. I don't know. Yeah, and which hey, you'd like to see more of him. I would, but they gave you Steppenwolf. They gave you the story. He was there. He shows up at the end and all that. He's, so
Yeah, no. And again, I don't think they're copying Marvel. You know how, like, in the MCU movies, at the very end, they were kind of teased. I remember the first time I saw Thanos, I knew exactly who he was, and my jaw literally hit the ground when I saw the end credits scene. It didn't have that big of an impact with me with Darkseid, but then again, like I said, I'm not a huge DC. I don't read the DC comics. I watch the movies, not read the comics. So, but I was really pleased to see. And I liked how he looked.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think that we didn't get a lot of his motivations, though. I don't feel like they fleshed out his character that much. I mean, at the beginning, they tell you, they tell you the story of the war that happened. So I guess,
his motivation is there's something locked in Earth that, what was it called?
The anti-life equation is what he was searching for. Which, incidentally, you were at the planet, you got your ass handed to you, you left. What, you forgot where it was at?
Damn it, where did I leave that again? I don't remember. That's awesome.
Well, he did get his ass kicked, but you're telling me there's not somebody on the ship that had coordinates to where the hell they were at?
Yeah, I'm thinking we should bookmark these coordinates real quick.
Minor details.
Yeah, just a minor one. But hey, where Thanos wanted to snap half the life in the universe, he wants to destroy the multiverses. Talking about taking it up a couple notches. So we're going to end this conversation with, of course, the last major character they introduced, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, Jean Johns.
Now, my very first thought. Okay, so he's been on Earth for years, pretending to be human and everything. I'm just wondering what he's thinking when he's in the military and he sees Zod and his cronies. Is he like, you know what, I'm going to take a back seat on this one. Let's see how Superman does. What if Superman would have lost? He would have felt like a dick. Mm-hmm. Hands down. I thought that dropping Martian Manhunter in at the end was meh. If we're not going to get a sequel, why bother?
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like they had him in actually the scene in the kitchen with Martha and Lois.
Yep.
I was distracted for a moment. I look back and I see him in the hallway, like, whoa, with the red eyes. Mm-hmm. And I realized it was him. Okay, so we've got him there, and we've got him at the end of the movie. Where are we going with this?
Yeah, I mean, it was a neat scene. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we got to see another really slick, cool house of Bruce Wayne. And of course, now when Bruce Wayne sees someone flying around, it's no big. There's no more shock value. I didn't really add any value to the movie. I thought.
Yeah, unless you're setting something up, right? Yeah. If you're setting up the scene, like the whole scene at the end, right, with which we'll get into, but it's like, is this necessary? Is this to show the characters, just to show them, or at the time when he was making the movie, he was intending to setting the DCEU up?
He definitely was setting it up. That's for sure. I mean, when he first did this 4 years ago, was it 2017?
It was 2017, right? I believe.
Yeah, so about 4 years ago. I think that he had a full vision of where he wanted to take the DCU. Unfortunately, Warner Brothers really doesn't have that desire. I mean, they gave Zack $70 million to give us this movie. I don't know how they can calculate if this was a profitable move or not by HBO Max, how that goes. I have no clue. But,
what I had read was that this, the Warner Brothers has no plans to move forward with any of this, despite Justice League's popularity. Now, they might tell us this now, and then, a year from now go, boom, we're coming out with this now. You never know.
No,
but,
you're right.
But they're like, you know what? We let him do his thing. He got his trilogy. We're kind of working on other stuff now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm just super excited for Suicide Squad 2.
Oh, the James Gunn helmed project?
I'm not excited.
Well, you know what? I am, because James Gunn gave us Guardians of the Galaxy.
True, good point. But
this is something. I have faith.
We're at the 19-minute mark, guys, so I think we should be wrapping up this little discussion. Mike, do you have any other thoughts, words of wisdoms, or any more opinions about the gift of Zack Snyder?
I think he did a good job, and I enjoyed it, and I would watch it again.
Yeah, I would, but probably in small bites.
Yeah.
So guys, what did you think of these characters? Did we miss a character that you wish we would have talked about? Should we have talked about Martha and Lois more? I don't know. But guys, let's continue the conversation down below. What were your thoughts between the differences between the two characters? Smash that like button, and guys, there's this little red button called subscribe. If you have not subscribed, we would be so grateful if you to do that, and be on the lookout for video 3 of Justice League as we talk about the epilogue. So, Mike, with that being said, peace out.
Peace out.